ability through retirement. We can help you craft a plan that will give you peace of mind to and through your retirement years.
So visit exchangemytaxbill.com to take the next step. Again, exchangemytaxbill.com will help you craft a tax plan to help bring clarity to your financial future.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, it makes sense to choose an insurance agent that's a part of your community. Your local Allstate agent knows the ins and outs of both owning and protecting a home in your neighborhood. By choosing a local Allstate agent, you get an expert who knows the community and is committed to getting to know you. Which means George Gray can help you get the protection you want that fits you and your life. Are you in good hands? Contact George Gray, Allstate Insurance today for a free quote.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing.
Welcome back into The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Hope everyone out there is having a good Wednesday afternoon. I'm Jim Gum, and of course, typically we got Andy and Jacob are here, but again, those guys are still out enjoying this fall break. But I've got Philip Tang back in here again tomorrow. Philip, thank you very much for coming in here.
Good to be back once again.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about this show? You know, you try to plan stuff out as as the day goes on and everything, and literally 5 minutes before we come on the air, I see something. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna change it up. We're doing something a little different." And it's coaches' salaries. I saw this on the USA Today website. And it's very, very interesting. And I'll tell you what, I regret not getting into coaching.
Right.
It's a very lucrative profession if you can be successful. And interesting stuff here. So I know we've got a lot of stuff we're going to get into. By the way, Jay Hagee, if you probably hear Alon Planning, you hear their commercials on. We're going to be talking to him today around 5:15. He's going to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans. This is the Titans report with him. And obviously, if you saw what they did this past Sunday, one of the craziest games I have ever seen. So can't wait to hear him. And then typically at 5:40, we talk with Bradley Central High School coach Damon Floyd, and we still are going to do that even during fall break. So, man, listen, we really appreciate the coaches. They've been on each and every day with us. Excuse me, that is tomorrow. This is Wednesday. That's tomorrow. We'll be talking with Damon Floyd tomorrow. But today we do have Jay Hagee. But, hey, listen, I do appreciate these coaches, though, coming on with us during fall break. And a lot of these guys could have said, "Hey, Jim, we'll pass.
Right.
We're off. We're taking off." But these guys are so good. But yes, I got ahead of myself.
Well, Bradley doesn't have the open day. They've got a game coming up.
That's
so
right.
He's still preparing.
In fact,
so it's a normal week for him.
He actually said that. He goes, "Yeah, this isn't no fall break for us, because they got a game, so they're planning just like it's a regular week for them." But we will do that on Thursday. Again, like I said, today around 5:15, we'll be talking with Jay Hagee from Alon Planning. All right, let's talk a little bit about these coaches' salaries. I'm going to go over the top 8, and then we'll get top 9. And then the reason I want to do 8 is just because.
You'll find out in a minute. Yes.
Then we're going to throw 9 out there just as a tease. Number 1, makes a lot of sense. Kirby Smart, Georgia, making over $13 million per year. Ryan Day, Ohio State, is second with $12.5 million. Lincoln Riley, USC, $11.5 million. Dabo Sweeney, $11.5 million.
It's a lot of money.
Steve Sarkisian, almost 11 million, 10.8 million. Dan Lanning of Oregon, 10.4 million. Kalen DeBoer of Alabama, $10,250,000. Brian Kelly, $10,175,000. So you see the names, all very recognizable, all very successful. Basically, these guys have done enough to, if you want to say justify, they have justified based on the results on the field in college football.
Well, you want to say the only one that really hasn't at his current school would be Lincoln Riley.
He hasn't. I mean, they're 4-1 right now.
Right.
You know,
But
I mean,
like,
frankly, I think they should be ranked. But you're right. They have underachieved since he's been the head coach. But he has been very successful at Oklahoma. And listen, they're having right now, last I looked, they've got either 1 or 2 as far as recruiting rankings go. So they're doing a good job. I'm very confident that he's going to have a very successful career at USC because he's keeping these California kids home. And if you can do that, you're way ahead of the game. Because lately, prior to him getting there, the state of Texas was losing their best players to teams in the SEC and Big Ten every season. And now he's trying to get things around. Now, obviously, UCLA still got some issues there. They're not doing a good job of getting the local kids. But you get the local California kids, you're going to be really good.
Right. And that's what Pete Carroll did for the longest time at USC.
Absolutely. And listen, you look around the country, there's 2 states to me that just produce more great quarterbacks. Texas and California.
Right.
Those 2 states, man, they just produce they produce quarterbacks like crazy. It's unreal. If you just look at the rosters and some of these great programs and look where these quarterbacks hail from, a lot of California and Texas kids. Now, obviously, every state produces a lot of great quarterbacks too, but those 2 states, to me, seem to be a little bit better at doing the quarterback position than anyone else. Number 9 on this list, Bill Belichick. Obviously, great NFL head coach, one of the greatest, if not the greatest head coach in NFL history. $10.1 million at North Carolina. I have a feeling there's a little bit of regret there. Buyer's remorse, if you want to say.
At least right now.
Yeah.
Now you go, depending on what happens next year, I would say. If he decides he's coming back next year and coaching and doesn't do well, there's definitely regret. But I don't know, it's like North Carolina wasn't an elite team to begin with, but they seem to have taken a slight step back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are certain schools out there. I'm glad you said what you said. It just got me thinking. There are certain schools that I've always thought they should be better at football than what they have been.
Right.
North Carolina is probably at the top of my list. I'm sitting there going, why aren't they better? Yeah, Virginia Tech had a really long run of success.
Right.
North Carolina could have been that.
Mm-hmm.
They've got. I'm not going to upset any Virginia Tech fans out there, but North Carolina is just a higher academic school. They've been super successful in all these other sports, but they just were always like a little bit below where I thought they should have been in football. And I'll tell you another school I've always thought this about. I've always thought Illinois should be better in football. The state of Illinois really does produce a decent amount of football players. Man, Ohio State and Michigan have gone into that state and got the best players year in and year out. And I've always said, man, if they could ever get a coach there and keep some of these kids in state, they could. And I'm not saying they're going to be as good as Ohio State and Michigan, but they should be
right there.
Really there. They should be where Wisconsin's been or where others like Iowa have been. Mm-hmm. Illinois has been below those schools big time. And I've always wondered, why are they not better than in football than that? And North Carolina, I've always thought the same thing about them.
Well, Illinois' Coach Brett Bielema, he's 19th on this list. I scrolled down, he at $8.2 million. So he's had pretty good success at Illinois, but it is odd how some schools just, for whatever reason, cannot climb that next step. They be good, but can't ever be the elite school.
Do you ever wonder? I've always wondered this too. I've always thought that Kentucky should be better in football than they have been. Not to say they should be competing with Alabama and LSU, but I know they've had a little bit of success. But I've always thought they should have more sustained success. I mean, they've every now and then Kentucky would just have one of those 4-8 seasons. And you're
Right.
like, what? How come?
I think Kentucky is truly a basketball
I do
state,
too.
and I don't think it's as important to the general public. It's important, but not like in Alabama where it's everything.
Yeah.
Where I think they're more upset if the basketball team loses a game they shouldn't.
I'll never forget this. This is an old quote from back in the 50s. Bear Bryant was head coach at Kentucky. Same time that Adolph Rupp was the head coach of Kentucky. And Bear Bryant said, I knew where I stood in the pecking order when, after one successful season, I got a watch.
Oh yeah.
And Adolph Rupp got a car.
Right.
I think it was a Cadillac maybe. And he goes, yeah, I knew where the priorities were at UK at that point. But do you think about the geographical location of Lexington? It's close to Ohio. Produces a ton of players.
It's really close to everything.
And there's other border states around Kentucky that produce really good football players. If they put the resources into their football program that they do in basketball, I think they could be better than they have been. Like I said, they do have some success, but they don't sustain it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's just one of those, again, like North Carolina talking about, just for whatever reason back in the day, 40s and 50s, they made an emphasis on basketball. And it never took off. Football never took off, and so now they're still always trying to climb that ladder.
And you got other schools in the same boat. Duke and North Carolina. We just talked about North Carolina, and actually Duke's been a little bit better in football here in recent years. But I mean, this one of those things, they don't sustain it.
Well, Duke's also a private school. So it makes it a little tougher than North Carolina.
Yeah, and it's a small school too.
Yes.
The enrollment there is not that big, but it's a very, very nice school, very prestigious, and we know what potential is in basketball. Of course, in basketball, you only need like 5 really great guys. I mean, in football, it's 22. Because in basketball, you got your starting 5, but they play offense and defense. Obviously, you got to have guys subbing in and out. But in football, it's 22 different guys.
Yes.
You rarely have a two-way player. We know about Hunter at Colorado, but that's rare. So the numbers are just so much different in football.
Yeah, you can give the excuse for the private schools and the public schools, but if you can find 5 good players and maybe like one off the bench, you can go a lot further, as you said, with a basketball team than with a football team.
Right. All right, another story that came out today, and we're going to hit a break here in a little bit because we do want to get with Jay Hagee. The NCAA announced that the Division I Administrative Committee voted to approve a proposal that would allow college athletes to place bets on professional sports. Under the proposed change, college athletes would still be banned from any gambling on collegiate sports, but are no longer prohibited from betting on pro sporting events. And this proposal will now go to Division II and Division III committees as well. What's your opinion on this?
I'm not a big fan of it. Because even if you're not allowed to do it on college sports, but especially your Division I, like Division II and Division III, it's not a big deal because most often those athletes aren't going to be professional.
Right.
But if you're a Division I football player and you're trying to be a professional, why are you gambling on something that could be your future job?
Yeah, here's my problem with it. I think they should put money into, hey guys, here's how to live life.
Right.
To me, gambling, and I know some people can do it and they've got the means to do it, but how many people have we seen their lives have been ruined because they've gotten so much debt, gambling debt? And I just fear that so many of these kids are going to start losing money, and they're going to place like a big bet, try to win it back, and then they lose again. And next thing you know, they're in such a deep hole, and it can become very, very dangerous.
Well, especially with the kids now, they're getting the big NIL deals.
Exactly.
They've gotten a couple $1 million all of a sudden that they've never had before. So what are they going to? How are they going to let that affect their mind?
I think you're opening up a very dangerous can of worms.
It is very dangerous.
I don't like it. I guess the thinking there is, listen, we can monitor these kids.
You can't monitor. It's impossible.
Maybe on doing collegiate betting, but maybe just let them focus on the professional sports, and maybe they won't be intrigued by betting on their own teams or their own self. I just have a real problem with this.
Well, there's going to be enough burner accounts where kids are going to create a fake email and a fake whatever and bet on college sports. impossible unless you have someone full-time monitoring everything all the time. It's impossible.
And like you said, if you create a burner account and you have an alias,
right?
I mean, heck, I could call myself, Albert Einstein. I mean, you don't know who I really am. These guys can create these fake. You're right. I just think that this is a can of worms. If I was the NCAA, I'd fight it hard to not let them gamble at all. But once you reach a certain age, you are considered an adult,
right?
But I just think it's a dangerous thing.
I will say Lee University is a Division II school. I'm curious to see where that'll end up. I have no idea if it'll pass at the small school level or not.
Yeah,
because Division II and Division III way different than anything in Power 4. So I will be curious to see if it goes through, because a lot more private Christian schools and just private universities, way different than a big state school.
That's right. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jay Hagee. He was with Alon Planning, and we're going to talk a little Tennessee Titans football. You're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardee's smoked sausage biscuit. Split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
For the past quarter century, Mix 104.1 has been your home for UT Vols football. That's something to celebrate. Vol 25 is here. ESPN Cleveland 101.3 and USS are giving you a chance to win tickets to all of the Tennessee road games this season. Each Monday before a road game, you can register to win tickets to that Saturday's Vols game. Vol 25 is brought to you by USS. Visit USSTN.com/Chattanooga. For more information, check out our ESPN Cleveland 101.3 socials on Facebook and Instagram.
Men, when it comes to your health, don't cut corners. At Tennessee Valley Urology Center, they do men's health the right way. They believe in evidence-based treatments, honest conversations, and care that's tailored to you, not cookie-cutter solution. Call or visit tnvalleyurology.com to book your appointment today.
This is Alfonso Revizo, General Manager over at Crown in Cleveland, your local Jeep and Ram dealership.
The Fall Fun Festival, sponsored by Mount Olive Ministries, is back at the Tri-State Exhibition Center on Wednesday, October 29th. Join us from 6 to 8:30 p.m. for an evening full of family fun. This year, you can enjoy lots of carnival rides, jump and play in inflatables, stop by the petting zoo, ride the train, and compete in carnival games. Grab dinner and dessert from your favorite food trucks, then top it off with free candy for the kids. And admission is free. Mark your calendars and bring the whole family to the Fall Fun Festival, sponsored by Mount Olive Ministries at the Tri-State Exhibition Center, 6 to 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday, October 29th.
Check your wallet. Empty? Check your bills. Overdue? Check your stress level. Maxed? Now, check into cash. Check into Cash is your one-stop money shop, and we've got everything you need. Payday loans and flex lines of credit options? Check. Quick in-store services like money orders and wire transfers? Check. Turn your unused gift cards into cash? Oh yeah, check. And yes, we cash checks. All kinds. Fast. Check that off your list. Visit checkintocash.com or check into a store to get started. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. We have locations in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Check in, cash out, and get on with life. Check into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit a store for details. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one: medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And we're efforting to get in touch with Jay Hagee, and we'll continue to try to reach him. But in the meantime, I've got a question I want to throw out to you, Philip. And this is kind of an interesting question because it's not necessarily the most unbreakable sports records, but what is your favorite sports record? The ones that you think are just the cool. Maybe one day it'll get broke, but you just like, I can't believe that happened. So anyway.
Yeah, I've got a couple there that we can talk about in a moment.
Yeah, actually, we do have Jay Hagee now. And Jay, how is everything in your world, man?
It's wonderful, man. It's another week, it's even better that we actually got a win from the Titans this week. So,
that's fantastic.
Good.
I got to ask you, man, that was one of the wildest games that I have seen. Listen, I thought the Titans were going to get blown out in that game. First quarter, it was all Cardinals, man.
They should have. I memean, the Cardinals came out swinging, and the Cardinals played a great game. There was a little bit of Music City magic happening. In that game. And so we had to have a few miracle plays, as I call them. So we had to have that fumble that got recovered for a touchdown, and there was a lot of things going on there, even at both ends of the field. But man, I'm telling you, we had a lot of grit to even stick in there. And Cam needed a win.
True.
He is right in his assessment that we were pretty much garbage up to this point.
And for those
of other language, but
yeah, well, for those out there that didn't see, you had basically a 71-yard touchdown run that was negated because he let go of the football just before crossing the goal line. That went in for a touchback, and then the one you were referring to, the fumble in the end zone, the ball was intercepted. And then the Cardinals, he dropped it when he got back up off the ground.
Right.
And then there was a couple hands got on it, slapped it into the end zone, and next thing you know, it goes from an interception to a recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. One of the wackiest plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, me as well. I've never seen anything like it, and I encourage everyone listening, if you haven't seen it, go YouTube that catch and that fumble and that recovery, because it is a wacky play all the way around. But, hey, we pulled off a win, and sometimes you need a miracle to get it done, but we got it done this week.
A game like that can really boost the confidence because, let's be honest, there was a lot of negativity amongst Titans fans, and I don't know if the players were as negative, but the fans, I know for myself, I was thinking, are they going to go 0-17? Because I was sitting there going, I don't see any wins. But now that they've got one,
that's the pressure.
Maybe the little confidence there, and I think Cam is going to be a good quarterback, but he's a rookie. And rookies are going to make rookie mistakes. There's just no question about that. But you can see the skill level is there.
Well, Jim, it's a psychological shift. You just need one win. I mean, you could see the relief on folks' faces after the game, that the team's getting interviewed. And, a winless year is a pressure that nobody wants to kind of bear, right?
Right.
And so every week becomes, when are we going to get one? When are we going to get our win? And now that they've done it, maybe they can play a little bit freer with less pressure because even if it took a miracle, we got to win. The challenge now is really consistent play. We can't just rely on late game, miracles and heroics to win every week. We have to clean up our defense. We missed a lot of tackles even last week. The offense needs to really find its identity, like you said, because Cam is a rookie. And so we got a lot of stuff that we're still working on. But I will tell you, man, I was glad to see a win because that at least maybe releases some of that pressure valve of a winless season.
And now you look at the division they're in, and all of a sudden it's become a really good division. Indianapolis, that team looks like a juggernaut to me. And then Houston's starting to turn things around. So, I mean, you look at the division and you're like, dang, I mean, really.
We're getting into a juggernaut division now. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought the Colts would have been doing what they're doing right now?
Nobody.
I didn't have them on my radar for sure. But man, they're putting up some points. Jonathan Taylor is just beast mode.
Yeah, he is a great football player. So let me ask you something. What part of this team are you most encouraged about now that we've got a win under our belts? What area of the team do you feel best about?
Well, after this last week, I would say special teams because he had 3 field goals. We're turning around some things, but I really, it's hard to pinpoint. I'm really relieved at the offensive side or the defensive side. I think there's a lot of cleanup work to do, but I do think there is a psychological shift to play freer now. That, hey, we don't have to worry about we're going to go winless this year and be the bad news bears, so to speak. And so I'm encouraged to see Cam, his grit, the offense sticking it out, even though, they're down. He threw for nearly 200 yards in the fourth quarter alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he had to, when the had to kick in, he had it, right? Like, he came back in the fourth quarter swinging. I was glad to see that they didn't give up. They're not a give-up team, even if they're struggling. And so I'm really encouraged by that. And so hopefully that grit will translate a little bit in the Raiders game this next week, and we'll see what happens from there.
Hey, Jay, tell everyone out there about your business.
Yeah, we are a comprehensive financial planning firm, Alon Planning Partners. We help folks put together winning game plans for their team day in and day out to make sure that their retirement is ready to be enjoyed the way that they want it. So you can look us up, alonplanning.com. That's ALLON planning.com, or reach us directly 423-315-1441. We would be glad to sit down with you and your family and put together a winning game plan for your finances.
Absolutely. Hey, Jay, appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. It was really good to hang with you today, and glad to be talking Titans win this week.
Absolutely, man. All right, you take care, brother.
You too, brother. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so we were talking about the division. I've totally left out the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are sitting there at 4-1. So you got the Colts and the Jags sitting there at 4-1.
It went from a couple years ago, maybe the worst division.
It was the worst division
in NFL to one of the better ones.
And that's how the NFL does this all the time.
Yeah,
there is so much parity, and you're just a play here or there from a win to a loss, or from a loss to win. And that's what Roger Goodell loves this. Listen, they play 17 weeks. Roger Goodell would love it if prior to the 17th game, that every team was sitting there at 8-8. And then,
yeah, of course.
He would love that. And because there's so much parity, and you look up and down these divisions, and you got really good teams are struggling. I mean, you got the Chiefs sitting there at 2-3.
Well, you did talk about Roger Goodell winning 8-8. Can you imagine the drama? Everyone watches, like, everyone is 8-8 and going to that final week of everything is on the line and all these tiebreaker scenarios. It'd be fascinating television.
It would. I mean,
now that it already isn't. It would be crazy.
And what's so cool about it, on the last Sunday of the season, they literally have 2 start times. There's no Monday night games. There's no Sunday night games. Everything's, you either kick off at 1, or you kick it off around 4:15. And so everyone's playing at the same time. Mm-hmm. So there, you really can't. There's no scoreboard watching because you're too busy playing your games. So it's really. Listen, NFL, they know what they're doing.
Oh,
man.
yeah, of course.
They know what they're doing. All right, let's get back to that little question I threw out there.
Okay. What
is your favorite sports record? And like I said, not necessarily the most unbreakable, but the one that you just go, wow, that's just so impressive. So give me yours. I'm just curious.
I've got 3. One is mainstream, and then 2 are kind of way out there.
Okay.
So the mainstream one is Tiger Woods. He has 2, the 142 consecutive cuts that he made, and then his 281 consecutive weeks is number 1. That's just
that one. That might be unbreakable.
That one might be unbreakable, just to be, because it's good golf
and making the cut. You're right, so hard.
Yeah, that one just is crazy. It says here from 98 until 05, he did not miss a cut in any tournament. That's 7 years.
That's incredible.
7 years of not missing a cut.
I didn't even consider golf. I was thinking about all these sports.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's when
awesome.
you texted me this morning. That's what first came to mind was. Like major was Tiger Woods just
all right,
crazy.
Let me ask you that. I know you're gonna give some. Is Jack Nicklaus's 18 majors, is that breakable? I don't think it is. You know why? Because there's so many good golfers now.
Before Tiger got hurt and went through everything,
he was on the verge.
Yes,
of doing
he would have done it. I don't think there is now. I don't think it is now. I think there's too many
great golfers
that will win it enough.
I agree.
Allow one person to get 18.
Yeah.
So, all right, my next one. There are 2 basketball ones. Are you familiar with the player Jack Taylor? Do you know that name?
Jack Taylor?
He played for Grinnell basketball.
No.
So he scored 138 points in a game back in 2013.
Oh my God! What division?
Division 3.
Division 3.
He made 52 field goals and attempted 108, and made 27 3-pointers in a game. They won the game. Let me see here. It was 171 to 119 was the final score.
God, so now where is this school located?
It's in Iowa. It's a small Division 3 in Iowa.
And tell me how many points he scored?
He scored 138 points it's in 2013. So there's actual like video proof and everything out there that he did that.
That's because one of mine is Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points in the NBA, but that was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There's literally there's no video of it. There's only a photograph of him holding a sign with 100 handwritten.
But can you imagine just sitting there in the game watching that, where he alone attempted 71 3-pointers. How crazy is that? That's why it's one of my favorites.
That's a great one, man. All right, now
and then the other one is the highest scoring college basketball game of all time. One of my former coworkers statted this game. It was Troy versus DeVry in '92. It was 258 to 141. That was the final.
250. Troy. You talking about Troy down in Alabama?
Yes. He worked.
Now DeVry, I think DeVry is like
it's an online school now.
Yeah, it's an online school, man.
Now,
it's like
but not at the time. My former coworker, he worked at Troy at the time. He statted that game, and he's told me when they called the Associated Press to report it, no one believed him. So they had to get both coaches on the phone to verify that was the final.
Now, what year was this?
92.
Is there video of this?
There is video, yes. I think I've seen
or
some
clips at least.
There's clips on YouTube out there.
Why have I never heard of either one of those? What division was Troy at that time? Were they Division 1 or Division 2?
They were transitioning from D2 to D1. So those were like their first year of going out of D2 into D1.
Okay, so that's probably the reason they had that game scheduled.
Yes. So that's why I told you my two were way out there. That's just so much fun to.
Now, of course, that brings up memories like I was around. Georgia Tech beating Cumberland 222 to nothing. Right. And I don't know if you know the backstory there, but Cumberland, that they had signed a contract to play Georgia Tech. Well, then Cumberland dropped the football program, and they just totally forgot to say anything to Georgia Tech. Well, the game that year rolls around, and Georgia Tech says, you coming, right? They're like, no, we dropped our football program. Georgia Tech was going to sue them. So they hurriedly got a team together, which is basically just anyone, and they got stomped 222 to nothing because Bobby Dodd, who was the head coach, said, you're playing this game. There was you guys messed up. You should have thought about this before now. So they got just boat race 200. Yeah. That'll never come close to getting broke there.
Well, yeah, YouTube does have this Troy State DeVry basically almost the whole game. I'll email you the link and you can catch a little bit of this.
That is insane. All right, here are mine. To me, Usain Bolt.
Oh, yeah.
Just 9.58 in the 100 meters. He toyed with other world-class sprinters. With him, and you watched him, and he had such a long stride.
Yes,
and he was just incredible, man.
Well, I remember the first one he won in 2008. He pulled up and was slowing down and still set a record.
Thumping his chest.
Yeah. If he had run full out, he might have had even faster.
Yeah, he would have. And then of course the 200 meters, 19.9 seconds. That one always stood out to me. And they always say all these sprinting records are going to be broken, but I think that one might stand for a while.
I do think the 100 might be broken at some point down the road, but the 200, that's just crazy.
Yeah. And then Michael Phelps.
Oh, yes.
My gosh, 28 medals, and 23 were gold. Mm-hmm. That is ridiculous.
What was it? 2008 that he had 11 golds or something crazy like
whatever it was.
That's just crazy in itself.
So all those records that Michael Phelps had. Of course, Cal Ripken playing 2,632 games. That's not going to be touched.
No. You mean I get someone to 1,500 consecutive games now?
Yeah, right. Matt Olson's at 700 something right now with the Braves. He's the current leader.
Yeah.
700 something games, like 728, 730 games, whatever it is. That's not even close. It's not even in the area code.
You have to you have to get there right out of either high school or college and just be so good that you just keep playing it. And you don't get injured. And that's the hard part.
Right. And he played a position where, guys are sliding into second base when he's trying to turn a double play and stuff like that. Fouling a ball off your foot. It's just all sorts of things can happen. getting a ball hit, maybe hitting your hand and maybe broken a bone. He played through a lot of little dings and stuff like that. But he played. And the thing is, I don't know if all 2,632 were starts, but I think they were. I think he started because I know this. When Lou Gehrig held the record,
Right.
there were a couple times that Lou Gehrig came in. He was going to take a day off. He came in just keep streak going as a pinch hitter or something.
Right.
Cal Ripken, I believe he started every one of his.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know that one off the top of my head.
So that even makes that one even more impressive. Jerry Rice, some of these records, 22,895 yards receiving. He is so far ahead of number 2. It is not even close.
Well, there's a lot of good receivers today, but there's teams that rely on a lot of receivers. So, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase are really, really good, could get there, but there's enough other good receivers out there that they don't get the volume that Jerry Rice did.
Well, Jerry Rice played way into us, I guess upper 30s, and it was still a dominant football player. He looked like he was in his early 20s. Of course, he was famous for his workout regime. I mean, he did a great job. All right, here's one, and I skipped a couple of these here. UConn women.
Oh,
they won 111 games in a row. 111 games in a row. That's not going to happen no more. Even with the greatest, because women's basketball, there's so much parity now in women's basketball. There just wasn't back then.
Oh yeah, like the Lady Vols and UConn were basically the two the two powerhouses. And unless they played one another, essentially they won every game.
Right. Yeah. It was ridiculous. Now here's one. Ricky Henderson, 1,406 career stolen bases. He would steal 100 bases or close to it each and every year. These days, the leader is like in the 30s or 40s or maybe in the 50s occasionally. They're not even close to what he was doing on a regular basis. That record, unless guys start stealing, listen, they made the bases bigger, so they could, but the catchers these days have such good arms, and they throw it so hard, they can nail guys. And, there's this analytics like when you should steal, when you shouldn't steal, and they buy into that stuff. Rick Henderson was like, hey, I'm going second, and then I'm on a walk. A walk was like a triple. He'd walk, steal second, steal third, sacrifice fly, he scores.
Yeah.
That's what he holds the all-time record in run score, too.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see the new MLB rules as well that are trying to promote more running. We'll get someone closer to, 100 stolen bases a year, but it's not anytime soon still.
Yeah, to me, that one is way, way up there. A college basketball record that
this is the one
obviously you talked about the guy scoring 138 points. Pete Maravich averaged 44.2 points per game
for a career
at LSU.
Without a three-point line.
Exactly, without the three-point line. Now, we all know, I don't know if you know the backstory here, Press Maravich was his father.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen the movie.
They grew up in the Carolinas, and the LSU job opened up, and, he was going to go, was it NC State is where he came from, I think?
Yes.
Anyway, so LSU's like, package deal coming. Let's hire let's hire this Press Maravich guy. Maybe he'll bring his son Pete with him. And sure enough, he did. And we all know the records he set there are unbreakable records.
To score 44 points a game on average.
And what would it have been had they had a 3-point, like 55, 56
I think
maybe?
someone said like close to 56 points per game that he had. Because a lot of his jump shots were still 3-point range.
Yeah. I mean, he did score some balls, shots from 10, 15 feet away too. But, man, he was unbelievable. That one will not be broken.
Of the list that you have here, that to me, that's probably the one that just stands out the most.
And here's the last one I'm going to throw out there, and I know we got to hit a break here in a minute. Nolan Ryan, 5,714 career strikeouts. First off, he never had a sore arm. I
don't know how.
he was throwing 100 miles an hour back in the 70s and 80s. He was throwing, complete games left. Even on games he would lose. He was striking out 10, 15 guys, getting the loss when he was with the California Angels or the Houston Astros. But nobody's going to touch that one.
No.
Nobody's going to touch that one.
With the managed innings that pitchers throw
They don't throw enough innings.
No.
They don't throw enough innings.
You might have complete staffs that don't get to 5,000 career strikeouts.
Exactly.
Just the way the managed innings are.
And then I'll throw one more out there. Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in an NBA game, and he averaged 50.4 one season. I'm a big Wilt Chamberlain fan. I know a lot of people talk about who's the greatest players in NBA history: Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Kobe. And I'm always going, hey, Wilt Chamberlain actually played. I know everything's in black and white film, but the guy dominated.
Yes.
He dominated. And he played at the same time that Bill Russell played with the Celtics. The Celtics were winning all the NBA championships. So Bill Russell his stats weren't as good, but he got all the rings.
Yes.
You know, I think Wilt Chamberlain got one championship in his entire career. That was the 72 Lakers.
Yeah.
He might have, I don't know if he got one with Philadelphia or not. I don't think he did.
I don't remember.
I don't think he did. But, man, he was dominant. And when you look at what's so good, when you look at the stats when Wilt went up against Bill Russell, he dominated Bill Russell. But the Celtics win every game because it was one versus five.
Right.
You know, but Wilt Chamberlain was so awesome back in the day. But anyway, with that, I thought we'd have a little fun with that. Hey, we are going to hit another break. When we come back, we've got a lot of other things we're going to get into. We got some postseason baseball. We're going to catch you up on that as well. You're listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll be back after this.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Hardees is hiring. Join the Star Team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at hardees.com today.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
ESPN Cleveland 1013 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineer Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. North Lee Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center, where the name says it all.
The absolute best deals are located at Deal Days. Everything in the store is $7 on Saturday and Sunday, $5 on Monday, $3 on Tuesday, and $1 on Wednesday. Located next to Planet Fitness on APD 40. Other locations are in Chatsworth, Calhoun, and Cartersville. That's Deal Days.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
For over 100 years, Mayfield Dairy has been delivering farm-fresh dairy beloved by Southern families. In 1983, Mayfield introduced its iconic yellow jug. The new opaque jug helps block harmful rays, protecting the flavor and nutrients in milk. Learn more about Mayfield today at mayfielddairy.com. A couple of updates currently going on in Major League Baseball. The Tigers leading Seattle 8-3. That game in the middle of the eighth, so only one more at bat for Seattle. If the Tigers hold on and win that series will be tied 2-2, and the deciding game will be played tomorrow. In the bottom of the first, Chicago has put a 3-spot up on Milwaukee, and the Cubs lead 3-1. So obviously the Cubs have got to sweep the Brewers in Chicago if they want to continue to, that series to go on. But we'll see if the Cubs can get that done today. But now the score is now 4-1. So good to see the Cubs. Listen, I like to see these series. I like a deciding game.
Yeah.
I like for all these series to go to Game 5 to see who wins.
The more drama, the better.
Exactly, and that's how I feel about it. But of course, last night the Yankees, my goodness, they were down 6-1. And they came all the way back. By the way, it was so funny because I saw this morning. The only bigger comeback for the Yankees in postseason history was the 1996 World Series against the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
So they overcame a 6-run deficit in that. But Aaron Judge, hits that home run off the foul pole, and then Chaz hits the home run, and the Yankee Stadium goes wild. But anyway, so I don't know how many people out there saw this. I know you and I saw this. This past Saturday, Oklahoma, they're playing. I can't remember who they won 44-0 at Kent State. And you had a wide receiver for Oklahoma, Keontae Lewis. He ran headfirst into the brick wall that surrounds Owen Field there in Norman, Oklahoma. And now they're going to put padding up. I'm sitting there going, it's 2025 and you didn't already have padding up? I don't get the mentality. Were you just waiting for this to happen?
They like the aesthetic of the bricks around.
I guess.
Or I guess they were waiting for it to happen because it's made it to 2025 and there's no padding there.
I guess what they could do is they could make the padding and have a brick look to the padding, although it would still look like padding. It's not like, you could replicate it 100%, but you do as best you can. And that got me thinking, Wrigley Field, every ballpark in Major League Baseball has padding on the outfield walls, except for one, Wrigley Field. And the reason is they got the ivy. We all know it looks great. But, man, I'm telling you, Philip, it's just a matter of time. There's going to be an outfielder like a high price, like someone like a Ronald Acuna, who seems to be injury prone anyway.
Right.
Him going full tilt, trying to catch a ball, slams into that wall, which is not padded underneath that ivy, shatters his shoulder, and he's never the same player. I can't believe they don't have. Listen, you can't tell me that they couldn't pull that ivy off that brick, put padding on it, and then somehow get the ivy to grow over the padding. But they haven't done that.
Yeah, it is a little surprising with how cautious everything is.
Yeah, everyone does that now.
In everything except a couple of instances like Wrigley Field or Owen Field for Oklahoma. It is very surprising that nothing has been done.
I know it is. Back in the day, I remember seeing guys. There used to be like none of the outfield walls were padded. I think the first padded wall I remember was 1976 when Yankee Stadium was renovated, and they put padding all the way around the outfield wall, and then it became a trend. Everyone started doing it, and then 3 or 4 years later, literally every wall was padded except for Wrigley Field, and I'm surprised the union, the baseball union, hasn't said something about that.
That's probably the most shocking. Now maybe they have, and it's just either not gone through, or
do you have to sign a waiver if you play at Wrigley Field?
Or you have to know. Well, everyone knows it's not padded, so
yeah,
I guess it's on you for.
But stuff like that just amazes me. I'm like, we always see stuff like this. Like, I grew up in a time, literally every car had seatbelts, but nobody used them.
Right. Nobody
used them. And then there was this rumor flying out there saying, hey, you might want to get used to this because there's a law coming, folks. I'll never forget, I bought a 280Z, and it was not a seatbelt law. But the first day I bought that car, I'm like, you know what? I started buckling up. And all my friends made fun of me. I'll never forget they would get in the car, and I'd buckle up. And they'd go, what are you doing buckling up, you sissy? I'm like, man, I say, I'm just getting used to it, man, because it's coming. And sure enough, they passed the law, and I can't tell you how many times this used to happen. You'd be driving down the road, you see a cop in the distance, and people would hurry up and get their seatbelt on,
right?
Because they knew, because the cops, they could get you a ticket just seeing you without. Of course,
still happens today.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do it now. Now, to me, it's second nature. I don't even think about getting in a car without buckling up. And are there people that drive without seatbelts on? I guess there are.
There are still a few out there. Yes.
I mean,
I'm not one, but I know
I'm not either.
There are some that just snap it, behind you.
So the
ding.
The alarm keeps going off.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that. But there again, getting back to Wrigley Field and what happened at Oklahoma, stuff like that just makes you think about that. And have you ever been to Neyland Stadium?
I have not.
Okay, Neyland Stadium, the south end zone. I bet you could lay down and be inbounds at Neyland Stadium and touch the wall.
Sure.
It's that close. I can't believe there hasn't been somebody just really hurt, because the stands, especially the south end zone, where the curvature of the stands at the corner of the end zones are so close. So close.
There's a lot of stadiums like that.
I'll tell you one that's really crazy. If you ever watch a game at Oklahoma State, Boone Pickens, the sideline stands, they're from me to that wall right there, and that's real good radio because nobody can see. They're probably about 8 or 9 feet, and that's it. 8 or 9 feet, that's it. But anyway, so yeah, that's how dangerous that is. So I can't believe that you got this kind of a barrier that close, and these athletes running so fast that it's just a matter of time before someone's going to slam in there, and there's going to be a serious injury.
Athletes keep getting faster and faster, and probably when it was built, it wasn't as big of a deal.
Right.
Especially when it was more, option play. You're not throwing the big bombs down the field with the quarterback. It's not as you're barely crossing the line. It's not as big of a deal. Nowadays, it's all the big deal.
Here's what happened at Boone Pickens Stadium. There used to be a track around that stadium. What they did, they excavated the field. I think they excavated like 10, 15 feet. So they added rows towards the playing surface. They took the track out, so they added rows towards the playing field, and now they're so close. Literally, the benches are literally you can lean up and touch your back on the wall because the benches are that close, because there's so little room there. And but nothing. At least they're padded. All the walls are padded there. But anyway, I just couldn't believe that. Hey, another thing that's going on. Speaking of Oklahoma, John Mateer, who a lot of people thought was maybe the Heisman leader when he got injured, got his hand injured. He is really, really trying to fight his way back into that game against Texas. And because I'm going to say something, I think Texas is going to beat Oklahoma unless Mateer is back in that game, because I think he is the driving force for this Oklahoma Sooner football team. And right now I haven't heard, but I'm leaning to hearing now. I did a little bit of research today. It's looking more and more likely like this kid's going to be starting for Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma-Texas. So I think that's a big deal, because Oklahoma has really got a good team this year, but I think he's got to be the quarterback.
They do. If he doesn't play, they have the excuse if they lose to Texas of, our top quarterback didn't play. You wonder if that's in the back of some Oklahoma fans' minds, like, we might go and lose this game, but if Mateer doesn't play, we have an excuse. But if he does play and he's somewhat hurt, they're going to have an excuse, he's not 100%.
You're right, because that will be brought up if the selection committee, they do take into account guys that weren't on the field if you lost a football game. And I think that's really something. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. Let's say he doesn't play and Texas beats Oklahoma. And then say Oklahoma, maybe they lose one more game. They're sitting there with a 10-2 record. Maybe they don't make it to the SEC championship game. The selection committee now, how do you look at Oklahoma? Do you look at them as a 2-loss team with all these other 2-loss teams? Or do you say, yeah, but Mateer didn't play in that Texas game.
Right.
If he plays, we think they probably win. So you look at Texas or look at Oklahoma a little bit differently. And I think that's a real possibility, because I hadn't really thought about that the selection committee would look at Oklahoma a little differently. Let's say they lose to Texas and they lose another game, and the one loss they lost to Texas was without their starting quarterback. You would have to look at Oklahoma a little differently.
Right. Well, you look at the future schedule for Oklahoma. They've got a tough road ahead.
They do.
And so the question is, do you want to rush Mateer back and say, here we go, let's take on our biggest rival, or do you want to wait because they've got their next at South Carolina, host Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama. That's the next 4 games after this weekend.
Wow, that is brutal.
And they still have LSU on the docket too.
Yeah, so you're right. So they've got Texas this weekend, at South Carolina, and we know at South Carolina is different than South Carolina coming to your place. So South Carolina is a tough team at home. You got Ole Miss, Tennessee. You got an open date. Then you got Alabama, Missouri, LSU. And we talk about Missouri like that's a good football team. That's a real good. Alabama better be ready to play, because I'm telling you, Missouri could give them everything they want. That is a brutal schedule that Oklahoma has. Yeah, I'm right now. They're sitting there at 5-0. If they go to 10-2, I think they're in. And one of these years, it may not be this year, but one of these years, you're going to see a 9-3 team get in. If we stay at 12 teams, now if we go to 16, 100% there's 100% will be 9-3 teams make it. But how do you look at a school like an Oklahoma that's sitting there at 9-3 with that schedule? Now, obviously, you can't get blown out. You can't get beat, 48-6. Because that doesn't fly well. But if you're competitive in every game and maybe you stub your toe maybe 2, maybe 3 times, Oklahoma's an interesting team.
It is. And also for me, it depends on, do you lose on the road or do you lose at home? And who did you lose to on the road? Like they've not lost a bad game on the road. They've not lost obviously at home on the road. You lose at Alabama or at Tennessee. It's not as bad as losing to a smaller school at home.
Right. And and listen, I have been on Brent Venable's case all season long prior to the year, because he's been there 3 years. This is his 4th. He's had 2 sub 500 seasons. And to me, Oklahoma, I used to live in that state. And you don't have to live in that state to know their expectations are at the very height. There's not a school that expects more out of their football team than Oklahoma football fans. I mean, they think they should win every game, just like Alabama fans do, Ohio State fans do. There are schools like that where they just expect to win every game. And to have 2 of your last 3 seasons be under 500, that is not very good. So he started the season on the hot seat, but they've turned it around pretty. They look like a legitimately good team. They really manhandled Michigan earlier this year. That's probably their best win of the year. But that's an interesting team to watch. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of great football games coming up. Listen, I think Tennessee's an interesting team too. They've got such a dynamic offense, but the one thing about Tennessee that really concerns me is that defense. They don't stop people very well. You can score points on that Tennessee defense.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, every
game.
That's the thing about the Vols is they play great offense, but man, their defense is like Swiss cheese, man. A lot of holes on that defensive side for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about that one.
Yeah. You know what, man? I would love to sit here and talk a little bit more, but we've got to scoot out of here a little earlier today because Finish Line Radio, these guys are invading our space, man.
Yeah.
They're coming in here. They're literally they've got hooks on us. They're dragging us away from our microphones. We got to get out of here and let those guys come in here to prepare for their show. So anyway, hey, listen, I hope everyone out there is having a great day. You've been listening to The Drive here on ESPN. We'll see you guys at 5 o'clock tomorrow.